folks, welcome back to 3 Zen. This morning I want to tell you about Colonel Hadley N. Thompson. Colonel Thompson was our Student Squadron Commander when I went through pilot training at Randolph. And the first time I met him, I remember this so clearly. The first time I met him, he had come onto the stage in the base theater at Randolph as we were being welcomed. And I had to do a double take. He was a big man, and he walked like John Wayne. And he just kind of swaggered across the stage to the podium. And then when he began speaking, he spoke with a very deep voice. Then I had to do another double take to see if there was a six-shooter strapped to his hip. At any rate, what a great guy, given a great first impression. As the program went along, I was chosen at one time to fly a mission with him, a contact mission, and we logged a .8. Now, that tells me that we had a mechanical, and I do remember we had a mechanical issue of some kind or another. Had to cut the ride short, so I got an incomplete on it. And that's about the only affiliation I had with Colonel Thompson. Then, in late 2012, I suppose, I saw an obituary on him. I don't know how I found it. I just happened to find these things. So I took a moment to reflect upon my association with Colonel Thompson and what he meant to me in my career as a mentor, as a man to look up to. And I put my thoughts on my blog, Lonely Pilot Bob. And no, I'm not lonely. It's just the name of the blog. At any rate, so I put this post on, and a short time thereafter, this would have been in 2013, I get a comment on the post that said, Bob, if you would please contact me. I have something of Colonel Thompson's you might be interested in. Well, that's interesting. So I reached out to him. He was an Army guy down in San Antonio, and he says, yeah, I have something that I'd like to give to you. It was something of Colonel Thompson's. Okay, well, I just happened to be going down to San Antonio in March to our annual POW dining in, our formal dinner for the Vietnamese POWs. And I told him I was going to be there, and we agreed to meet. When we caught up with each other, he had this very nicely wrapped box. He said his wife had packaged it for me, and he gave it to me. And he didn't give it to me, he kind of presented it to me. And I opened it up, and it was one of Colonel Thompson's flight suits. And you'll see it depicted on the icon I used for this entry here. At any rate, I took that, and I was just stunned. Now, I knew Colonel Thompson was a big man, but I didn't realize how big he was until I took one of my flight suits of that same era and put it up next to his. Holy cow, I was a runt. At any rate, I brought it home and hung it up next to my flight suit. And I entitled the post, Two Empty Suits. But it was entitled that way with the deepest of respect. Here you had one of my instructor pilots' flight suits and one of my flight suits from the same time. They were K2Bs, the old cotton flight suits. And when I tell the story or I think of the story, I'm just so happy I had the opportunity to meet him, albeit a very short time. Now, at the risk of this thing getting too long, I'll take a minute to tell you about these K2Bs flight suits. They were cotton. They were gray, or some people call them green, but with my color deficiency, they look kind of a gray to me, or I didn't see any green. Anyway, be that as it may. They were really neat flight suits. They were very comfortable. No Velcro, just snaps. And they were cool to wear in the summer versus the Nomex. At any rate, we would wear these things, and we would come down for a flight. We'd be milling about in the flight room, and the scheduler would often say, hey, Holliker, turn around. So I'd turn around, and he'd say, okay, you're going up here in about an hour. We could fly, I think, 3 times a day during that period. Today, I don't know if they can double turn, but anyway, we could fly 3 times a day. And what the scheduler was doing was he was counting the salt rings on the back of your flight suit, because each time you flew, you sweat, and especially in that T-37, you sweat like a son of a gun, and it would leave a sweat ring. So he could count the rings on the back of your flight suit, kind of like aging a tree. They could count the rings on a tree. Anyway, today those flight suits hang in a closet, 2 empty suits, but they symbolize a period that I will always treasure. So, Colonel Thompson, it was so great to have met you and to have flown with you, sir. Take care.